Last night was a massive deadline in the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni lawsuit. They had to file their motion for summary judgments, basically their arguments for the trial. Justin Baldoni did not disappoint. He came in to shut down her entire case and brought new video evidence. Meanwhile, Blake Lively missed her deadline. I want to go through because first up, I want to start actually with the bar scene because this is kind of an important one. It's very hard to hear. It's very hard to hear.
The Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni lawsuit just took a shocking turn. Last night, a massive court deadline arrived, and only one side showed up prepared. Justin Baldoni filed a motion for summary judgment packed with new video evidence that could demolish her entire case. Blake Lively? She missed the deadline completely. Could this be the beginning of the end for her allegations? Or is there something the mainstream media refuses to tell you? Before we dive in, make sure to smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon. This case is moving fast, and you won't want to miss what happens next. Drop a comment below with your thoughts as we go through this bombshell evidence. Let's cut straight to what happened. The court required both parties to file motions for summary judgment, essentially their final arguments before trial. Justin Baldoni's legal team, led by attorney Alexander Shapiro, delivered a comprehensive filing that included multiple video clips from the set of It Ends With Us. These aren't just any clips. They directly contradict the central allegations Blake Lively made in her complaint. Blake Lively, on the other hand, did not file her motion. Major outlets like Deadline reported she was expected to file, but nothing materialized. The silence is deafening. Why would someone with a supposedly strong case miss such a critical deadline? The centerpiece of Baldoni's filing revolves around three key allegations Lively made: inappropriate physical contact, sexual comments on set, and hostile working conditions. The newly released footage systematically dismantles each claim.
Now, Blake Lively had been complaining about too much hugging on set. This was something she had said previously, but Blake and Wayfair agreed co-workers should respect physical space. Lively's constant confusion of her character as Lively as opposed to Lively herself became problematic and interfered with production. This was caused in a large part by Lively's persistence, desire to direct, and an inability to accept direction. For example, her allegation that Baldoni inappropriately called her sexy was in fact a reference to a scene where everyone was wearing onesies, but Lively was covering her onesie with a big coat. Baldoni, her director, asked that she take off the big coat so that her onesie would be visible in the scene. Baldoni said it will be hot, as in 90 degrees in the small bar with no air conditioning. Lively mischaracterized this as, in her complaint, as Baldoni referring to her personally as hot, using the slang meaning of the term. Given that Lively herself had earlier expressed to him that she wanted her character's wardrobe to be sexier, Baldoni encouraged her to accept direction by saying, "It's sexy," meaning that without the big coat, the wardrobe was sexier, as Lively had said she wanted it to be. Lively took this personally. She was unable to take that direction regarding her self-chosen wardrobe, saying that's not what I'm going for. Baldoni, recognizing this, she may have taken his direction personally and appeared offended, apologized more than once. His statements were immediately followed by his gesture that she had something in her teeth and requested for someone to get a toothpick. This exchange, all of which was captured on camera, demonstrates how ludicrous and deliberately malicious Lively's allegations are. So, we got that video. Here it is finally. Now, it's a long video.
First, let's examine the bar scene controversy. Lively alleged that Baldoni made inappropriate comments about her appearance, specifically claiming he called her hot and sexy, in a manner that made her uncomfortable. According to her complaint, this was part of a pattern of sexual harassment. The video tells a completely different story. The scene takes place in a cramped bar set with no air conditioning, temperatures climbing into the 90s. Cast and crew are visibly uncomfortable from the heat. Multiple people can be heard commenting about how sweaty and hot the environment is. In this context, Baldoni is directing a scene where everyone wears onesies. Lively covered hers with a large coat. As the director, Baldoni asked her to remove the coat so the onesie would be visible in the shot. He mentions it will be hot, referring to the temperature. He then references the wardrobe as sexy, specifically because Lively herself had previously requested her character's wardrobe be sexier. This wasn't a comment about her body. It was a professional direction about costume choices that she had personally requested. When Lively appeared uncomfortable, Baldoni immediately apologized multiple times. The exchange then shifted entirely when he noticed she had something in her teeth and called for a toothpick. Does this sound like predatory behavior? Or does it sound like a director trying to navigate an increasingly difficult working relationship? Here's where it gets more interesting. The footage also shows something else entirely. Throughout the video, Baldoni appears distant, professional, and careful. He doesn't seem like someone inappropriately interested in his co-star. He seems like someone trying desperately to maintain professionalism with someone he clearly doesn't get along with. This observation is backed up by text message exchanges also included in the filing. In one particularly revealing email chain, Baldoni writes that he's waving the white flag, admitting Lively has taken over the film. He states he's furious and sad about the situation, but willing to give her nearly everything she wants just to get the movie finished. In that same exchange, Baldoni lists his concerns, including one about an intimacy scene. He notes that Lively moved the scene from the bedroom to the kitchen, eliminating the intimacy he had planned. She removed kissing from the scene. His response? "The last thing I want to do is kiss this woman." These aren't the words of a harasser. These are the words of someone trapped in a toxic professional relationship, trying to survive production. Now, let's address the too much hugging allegation. Lively claimed there was excessive and inappropriate physical contact on set, particularly hugging. The filing includes footage of a crew raffle event, a common occurrence on film sets where cast and crew pool money and winners are drawn. When a production assistant wins, both Baldoni and co-star Isabella Ferrer celebrate enthusiastically. Crew members hug Baldoni. Young cast members hug him. Everyone appears comfortable, happy, and celebrating together. This is normal film set behavior. There's nothing sinister or uncomfortable about any of it. If hugging was truly such a problem, why does the footage show the complete opposite? Why does everyone, including other cast members, appear comfortable with physical contact that's clearly celebratory and appropriate? Let's rewind for a moment and understand how this legal battle started. Blake Lively filed her complaint in December, alleging sexual harassment and a coordinated smear campaign against her. The allegations centered on her time filming It Ends With Us, where she starred opposite Baldoni, who also directed and produced the film. According to Lively's complaint, Baldoni created a hostile work environment through inappropriate comments, unwanted physical contact, and unprofessional behavior. She claimed that when she raised concerns through proper channels, including a meeting with studio representatives, Baldoni and his team retaliated by hiring crisis public relations specialists to destroy her reputation. The story exploded across media outlets. Major publications ran with Lively's narrative, often without scrutiny. Baldoni was painted as a predator hiding behind a feminist image. His reputation took an immediate hit. He was dropped by his talent agency. Projects disappeared. But from the beginning, Baldoni's legal team maintained the allegations were false. They claimed Lively was rewriting history to explain away the film's rocky production and the public relations disaster that followed. They promised receipts, promised evidence, promised the truth would emerge. Now, months later, those receipts have arrived. The motion for summary judgment doesn't just defend against her allegations. It systematically deconstructs them with video evidence, text messages, email chains, and witness testimony. The filing reveals a different story entirely. A difficult actress who struggled to take direction, who confused her character with herself, and who attempted to take creative control of a film she wasn't directing. When things went poorly, both during production and after release, she needed someone to blame. So, what does all of this mean legally? A motion for summary judgment is a powerful tool. Essentially, Baldoni's team is arguing that even if every fact Lively alleges is true, she still doesn't have a case. They're asking the judge to throw out the lawsuit before it ever reaches a trial. For this to succeed, they need to prove there's no genuine dispute about material facts, and they're entitled to judgment as a matter of law. The video evidence is crucial here. It's not he said, she said anymore. There's objective footage showing what actually happened in these allegedly harassing situations. Let's break down the legal elements Lively needs to prove. For sexual harassment, she must show the conduct was unwelcome, based on sex, and sufficiently severe or pervasive to create a hostile work environment. The bar scene footage directly contradicts severity. A director giving wardrobe direction using terminology the actress herself used isn't harassment. It's professional communication. For retaliation claims, Lively must prove she engaged in protected activity, suffered an adverse employment action, and there's a causal connection between the two. Even if the public relations response was aggressive, the question becomes, was it retaliation for complaining about harassment, or a legitimate response to what they viewed as false allegations? Here's where it gets complicated. Baldoni's team argues that many issues Lively raised during production were addressed immediately. If concerns were raised and resolved, can you later claim they created a hostile environment? If you continued working without filing formal complaints, does that undermine your case? The legal standard requires the behavior to be severe or pervasive. Isolated comments, even if inappropriate, typically don't meet that threshold. The footage shows instances where Baldoni immediately apologized when Lively seemed uncomfortable. That's actually evidence of appropriate responsiveness, not harassment. There's another element that makes this case unusual. The filing reveals that Lively herself added a scene to the script where she kissed Baldoni's character in every take, even though no kiss was scripted. The footage shows this hospital scene clearly. If Lively was so uncomfortable with Baldoni, why would she add intimate physical contact that wasn't required by the story? The answer might reveal the real issue. This wasn't about harassment. This was about creative control. Lively wanted to direct elements of the film. When Baldoni maintained his role as director, tension escalated. The lawsuit, according to Baldoni's team, is an attempt to reframe creative disagreements as something far more sinister. Will the judge grant summary judgment? That's difficult to predict. Courts generally prefer letting cases go to trial rather than dismissing them early. However, when video evidence this clearly contradicts allegations, judges have more confidence making those calls. What's undeniable is that Lively's case just became exponentially harder to win. This case represents something bigger than two celebrities in a legal dispute. It's become a flashpoint in conversations about how allegations of harassment are treated, especially when they involve public figures. When Lively first filed her complaint, the response was swift and severe. Baldoni was condemned across social media and in think pieces. The assumption was guilt. After all, why would someone fabricate such serious allegations? But this video evidence raises uncomfortable questions. If these allegations are this easily contradicted, what does that mean for the initial rush to judgment? Major media outlets ran stories presenting Lively's claims as fact. Very few added meaningful skepticism or waited for Baldoni's response. Now that response has arrived, and it's devastating to her narrative. Will those same outlets give this evidence the same prominent coverage? Will they acknowledge they may have gotten it wrong? The broader implications extend to how the industry handles these disputes. If Lively's case falls apart completely, it may make studios more cautious about immediately siding with accusers. That could be positive, encouraging more thorough investigations. It could also be negative, making legitimate victims less likely to be believed. There's also the question of what happens next for both parties. If Baldoni prevails, can he rebuild his reputation? The damage may already be permanent. Even if he's vindicated, some portion of the public will always remember the initial allegations. For Lively, the stakes are equally high. If this case is dismissed or she loses at trial, the backlash could be severe. She's positioned herself as a victim of harassment and a coordinated attack. If that narrative collapses, how does she recover professionally? The filing also hints at potential counterclaims. If Baldoni can prove the allegations were knowingly false and caused him damages, he could pursue defamation claims. That would flip this entire situation, making Lively the defendant. One thing is certain, this case is far from over. The motion for summary judgment is just one step in a longer process. Even if the judge doesn't dismiss the case entirely, this evidence will follow the lawsuit through every stage. If it goes to trial, a jury will see these videos. They'll read the text messages. They'll hear testimony about what really happened on that set. And if this case moves forward to trial, it could expose everything. Not just about this production, but about how Hollywood handles creative conflicts, power dynamics, and allegations that can destroy careers. The truth matters. Evidence matters. And right now, the evidence is telling a very different story than the one Blake Lively wants the world to believe. What do you think after seeing this evidence? Does this change your perspective on the case? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. This is a developing story, and we'll continue covering every major development. If you found this breakdown valuable, hit that like button and share this video. The mainstream media won't give you this level of detailed analysis. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next in this explosive legal battle. The battle for truth is just beginning, and the receipts keep coming.